David Baye here for MuscularDevelopment.com. I am in South Florida for the 2013 NPC National Championships, hanging out here with welterweight competitor and somebody. You were welterweight at the USA's, weren't you?
Yeah, the last one. I wasn't really eating or training, so I've always really been a middleweight.
Oh, okay. Well, my bad. With a middleweight competitor and no stranger to the NPC National level circuit, Danny Hester. Danny, first off, I just want to say on a personal note, I'm a big fan. I've been watching, when I was young, first got into bodybuilding, and some of you guys might remember this, Flex TV on ESPN, highlighting, Sean and Kevin Levrone and Lee Priest and their striped unitards and Danny Hester, one of the guys that was always on that show, man. So again, just a side note, big fan. So it's cool for me to be able to interview Danny. For the guys who aren't real familiar with you, talk to us a little bit about when you started getting into bodybuilding. As I had mentioned, you've been around for a long time. For the people who aren't familiar, give us a little background about Danny Hester.
Well, I've been competing since '89 was my first show. I won my Mr. Ventura County, the place I grew up in. I won the overall, my first show, and then I did shows outside the area like Mr. LA. I won that, Orange County, Ironman, mainly all of John Lindsay's shows as a lightweight. And then they didn't have welterweights back then, and then I moved up and I won the Cal, I think in '93 as a middleweight, and then did the USA, and almost every year I've competed, and then I think up to '98 was my last year of competing, and took about almost 10 years off of competing, but I was always training at Gold's Venice, so most people already knew me from before, being a national level competitor, and getting a lot of press and hype because of Flex, Wheeler, and all the guys I trained with coming up when they were coming up and being very successful. I've actually beat a few guys. I think I actually beat Dexter Jackson as a middleweight back in the day, sometime in the early '90s.
That's a nice one to have under your belt.
Yeah, and it's just I come from a wrestling background, so it was really hard for me as far as eating. That was my biggest problem, is the eating factor. Just my brain and everything. I like being hungry. It's the weirdest thing. That's why I stay so lean. People go, "Oh, you're so shredded all the time." It's like, because I really don't eat that much. And I don't eat a lot of carbs. I'm more of a protein eater. So for me, being lean is very easy. It's just putting on the size, and the work is really in the eating. It's in the nutrition. That's why, I really believe in supplements and stuff like that if you're not consistent with it. I think lately, coming back into competing, one of the deciding factors is obviously because I got married to my beautiful wife, Monique, and it just, kept me steady and, consistent. Consistency is everything, especially in the nutrition. Training I love doing, buckle down and train more like a bodybuilder. Because I train a lot of fighters, different athletes and stuff like that. So I was always doing it with them, a lot of cross-training stuff, I guess, that they call CrossFit these days. I was doing that 20-something years ago in wrestling practice. They just call it something else now. But, with the consistent eating and lifestyle, not going out to clubs, crazy all the time at night in LA and everywhere else, it's really made a big difference. And I see it. I see the change in my body. I mean, as I get older, it's amazing what I'm doing as far as acting more like a bodybuilder, which is a different type of athlete. It's just very disciplined, and I've been able to achieve that with my new lifestyle. So it's just amazing. At my age, I'm 44 years old, and I'm actually better than I've ever been. This show, I honestly have to say, I'm better than I have ever been in any show. It's kind of crazy.
Now, Danny, you're one of the last few guys from that golden era of bodybuilding that everybody always talks about, the early '90s, late '80s, and especially on MuscularDevelopment.com. You go on there, there's a million threads about the golden era of bodybuilding. So it's pretty rare that we get to talk to a guy who's still competing, still in good enough shape, not to say some of those guys couldn't get back on stage. What are some of the differences that you see as far as, I guess I just want to say the bodybuilding scene in general, from the way guys are preparing for competition to people's mindsets to off season? Can you talk to us a little bit about about when you were competing in the '90s and guys' attitudes towards competition then, as opposed to fast forward to 2013?
I see, obviously with science and everything, and the technologies with nutrition and training is awesome right now. Man, if we had that back then, I mean, I think we'd be way ahead of the game. I mean, it's amazing the stuff we can get done.
But some people would argue that back then is better than now.
No, it is. It is. That's my point. My point is that I think a lot of the athletes are very impatient these days.
Oh, you're saying they rely on all this stuff and they rely on the science. Okay, man, yeah, absolutely.
It takes time, I look at some of these guys starting out and they want it now. They want to win then. They get so disappointed. I'm like, bro, you don't even know. You got to put your time in. You got to take your losses. Every loss is improving yourself. It's telling you that you're not ready yet. So don't get mad at anybody. Just step it up and have consistency and you'll get it, and it's just you're gonna be that much better when you win. It's like, wow, okay, if I would have won 10 years ago or whatever, would I have looked the same winning then or later on? I'm gonna look better later on. I'm very sure of it because you have the muscle maturity and you've been able to really hone in on the areas that you need improvement on. So a win is not necessarily a win. It might be on the trophies, on the books, but as far as your physique,
from a physique standpoint, you're not doing yourself any favors.
Exactly.
So, this is definitely a really good point. As far as with your training, are you doing anything different now, getting ready for a bodybuilding show than you were in the 90s? Other than you said you're trying to eat a little bit more now.
Yeah, I'm not training as heavy actually. Okay. I'm just trying to feel it. I've always kind of done that, but I've was so brainwashed into lifting heavy all the time, and that doesn't necessarily translate into more size. It definitely has to do a lot with the eating and the consistency, but you kind of have to pace yourself. Intensity, short. I used to train way too long before. Intense and real short, training sessions actually seem like they work best, at least for me now.
Now, in all your national level competitions, if I'm not mistaken, you've never placed outside the top three. Top two earn their pro card Saturday night. The 2014 season is going to be packed with 212 shows. Is that we hate to look too far forward. You seem like about as down to earth of a guy as anybody I've ever interviewed, and so you might not come across as somebody who's saying that's what I have in mind for a pro show, because you're not jumping the gun on earning your card. But is it something that you're looking forward to? I mean, you've got to be a favorite coming into this show. Are you looking forward to 2014 and jumping in that 212 class, which as of right now, the 212 class is gaining a ton of momentum. There's a lot of really big name guys that are coming up and starting to make their name known in the 212. Is that something you really even thought about?
I wish it was stayed at the 202 before. I mean, got the 212. It's like, well, let's get some more bigger guys in here. I mean, pretty soon what are they going to do, 220s? And, because it just keeps getting bigger on the top end, but then they're pushing that. So what's the point? You know what I mean? You're basically getting a miniature version of the bigger guys. Dennis Wolf, what's Dennis Wolf, like 5'10", 5'11"?
Yeah, he's probably close to 6 feet.
Yeah, he's, 300 pounds?
I think, off season, I think he was on, I want to say he was on stage like around, I think he was 265, 270, maybe somewhere around there at the Olympia. Yeah, big dude.
So based on that weight-height ratio, it's just kind of the same thing moved down. I mean, supposedly that was supposed to give it more aesthetics, being a little bit lighter, but it doesn't seem to be that case, because then you're getting guys that are shorter that are putting just as much muscle on. So
yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, I get what you're saying. It doesn't necessarily seem like it's a 212 with a stronger focus on aesthetics. It's just shorter guys in the weight class. I think at this year's Olympia, people took a look at Flex Lewis, your 212 winner, and myself included. A lot of people think if you take Flex Lewis and you put the exact same Flex Lewis on a 5'10" frame, he's giving Phil Heath a run for his money. So yeah, you bring up a good point. See, this is what you get when you talk to somebody that's been in the game as long as Danny Hester is. You get all these different insights and stuff that I wouldn't have thought of. So
and putting a number on it, the way even when you weigh in, I hate that they write that, and some of the judges are actually standing there when you're weighing in. So if you're on the bottom of a weight division and some guy comes in the top of the weight division, the judges see that they actually are judging your division, and that these guys, if I didn't know, they look exactly the same, and go, well, that guy weighed almost 10 pounds more weighing in. I think I'm gonna have to give it to him, just because size means so much in this sport. Even though it's an illusion, but you know, I mean, I guarantee you most bodybuilders put about 10 pounds on the weight that they say they are.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And that's the thing, is it's such a shame. I'll look back in the videos of Labrada and all those guys that competed. Man, they played at Gold's all the time. They have the big screen up there now.
Okay.
It's so cool. They're playing all the old school like bodybuilding competitions.
Oh, so at your gym at Gold's Venice, like on the video screens, they're playing old school bodybuilding videos?
Huge. I think it's like 6 or 7, maybe 10 screens put together, and they're blasting like old school bodybuilding videos all the time of Mr. Olympia competitions back from the 80s. Unbelievable.
That seems awesome, because where I work out, and nothing against the gym owners from where I work out, they're just following the trends. But more and more in every state and every city across America, it's this health club trend, and it's very rare that you still see some gyms like that even cater to bodybuilders, much less some that have the old Olympias playing on the screens.
Well, I mean, Gold's Venice, it's the Mecca, right. So I mean that's what it's known for. They embrace it, because they're also going to be any other gym like you're talking about.
Absolutely.
What I'm saying is that in the old days, there was no weight division. I mean, my God, Labrada can go against and play second to Lee Haney and beat all these other guys. Now
giving up 30, 40 pounds too.
Yeah, but it was about the body. Now it's all about the weight. It's crazy. It's such a shame. That now they have the men's physique, and that's going through its own transitions and everything. And because I'm kind of interested in that after I'm done with the bodybuilding, because hopefully they'll bring the shorts up a little bit more so you can get some credit for the legs.
I don't know if it's just rumors, but I saw some people talking about that online, that they were discussing bring. I've been reading that too. They're talking about bringing the shorts up just to try to make sure that the athletes are more balanced and they have those legs, which I think a lot of the guys do. In all fairness, a lot. Yeah, in the men's physique division, a lot of those guys,
top level men's physique that doesn't have legs.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And a lot of them were bodybuilders too.
Yeah, absolutely. With the men's physique division being relatively new, most of those guys are bodybuilders that transferred into physique. I'm sure as the physique division, ages and is around for a while, you'll have guys training specifically for physique who might not be training their legs if the board shorts trend stays. But right now, yeah, you're absolutely right. The current guys, a lot of those guys, they don't get the respect for the leg training, but they've put in the work, or at least have in the past. So
yeah.
So
it's still all bodybuilding. You can call it whatever you want. It's they have wheelchair bodybuilding. It's all bodybuilding.
It's all bodybuilding. So, all right.
It's just about being the best that you can be. It really is. It's about improving yourself. That's why I've never got upset winning or losing. Oh, aren't you upset? You didn't win. You're so close. I said no, because I'll just do it next year or whenever I'm ready. It's about competing. I love to compete, whether it's on the amateur level or the pro level. I think if you go out there and look your best, your peers will respect you. And I think, over all the years, I've gotten a lot of respect from everybody. I might not be the best as far as, winning, but I think I present a great package out there, and a lot of people can appreciate it and inspire a lot of people. A lot of guys that came up way after me, I've inspired, and now they're the top dogs.
Myself included. Well, I'm not the top dog, but people that have been inspired.
With myself, like Lee Labrada. I talk to Lee all the time, and Rich Gaspari and all those guys. Those were the guys I was watching when I was coming up. So it's really cool. It's a family.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, I could literally sit here and ask Danny questions all night long, and I wouldn't get tired of listening to a bit of it. But we know you're in competition prep mode. We got your wife here hanging out, so we're gonna let you get going here. Again, for myself, a big fan. This is an absolute honor. Thank you very much for taking the time and doing the interview. Danny's gonna hit a few shots here, so you can guys get a little bit of a preview of what he's looking like and what he's bringing to the national stage tomorrow night for prejudging. But we're gonna wrap it up. So for musculardevelopment.com, this is David Baye with NPC Middleweight. Danny Hester for musculardevelopment.com at the 2014 NPC National Champ. 2013. I already said 14. It's 2000. It's 2013 National Championships.